Hey, what is going on, everyone, and welcome to the Omen franchise ranking. We finally reviewed every single Omen movie. If you guys have not seen those videos, go check them out. I have a playlist on my YouTube channel. I reviewed all of the Omen movies, starting from the original 1976 all the way to the first Omen. We are going to wrap this up with a franchise ranking. This is the first time that I actually finished a franchise, and I am going to rank it. I started on the Alien franchise, and I paused it mostly because I honestly got bored of the movies, but I will get back on that with the new one out and with the buzz it's getting with Alien Romulus. I do want to watch it, but The Omen, I overall pretty much enjoyed this franchise as a whole. It's a new franchise that I'm probably going to start watching in October, at least one or two of them every October. I enjoyed going through these movies on YouTube and reviewing each one, and it's prepared me for further review series. I kind of wanted to start it with series that are not beloved to me, like Friday the 13th or Halloween, because I want to do those when I'm well into movie reviewing and I'm used to knowing how it works and stuff like that. So this one was a good one to practice on. And honestly, I found some new movies that I really like. So without further ado, I'm going to rank these worst to best in my opinion, obviously, not going off of anything else. This is strictly my opinion and how I view these movies and which ones I liked better than the others. So comment down below what your ranking would be and what you disagree on, what you agree on, stuff like that. I love talking movies. So comment down below what you guys think my list will be. What do you think my number one will be? And what do you think my worst one will be? So let me know. Without further ado, let's go ahead and rank these movies. So the worst one, in my opinion, coming in at number 6 is going to be The Omen 3, The Final Conflict. So this movie, I actually did not hate. So I didn't hate this film. The only factor that I think brought it down to this for me is that Damien is a full-grown adult. And in my opinion, that's not what The Omen is about. I think The Omen should involve a creepy kid. I think that's what the series was built around. That's what the series should be. I think that without that, it's just really not, it doesn't feel like an Omen movie to me. And this one didn't feel like an Omen movie. Like I said, I didn't hate it. It kind of just felt like a horror drama, if I'm being honest, kind of like a religious horror drama. And it wasn't horrible. I halfway enjoyed the movie. I wasn't bored through it at all, but it just didn't feel like an Omen movie. And as much as I love Sam Neill, this was a really weird role for him. I didn't completely buy into the character of Damien. And I have no doubt that Sam Neill is a great actor. I mean, he's done so many great movies, but I don't know. For some reason, I just feel like he didn't portray the character as I thought so. I mean, in my review, I was a lot nicer on him, but as I've set on it, I don't know. It just didn't feel like an Omen movie. I think that's really what brought it down for me at the end of the day. It just didn't feel like an Omen movie, and it wasn't enjoyable. The ending was really extreme, and I don't know. It was just a weird movie altogether. That's why it is at the bottom of this list. Technical difficulties, we're going to have to bail the background. But coming in at number 5, a close number 6. I debated on these two movies more than any other movie above it, really, or any other two movies above it, is The Omen 4, The Awakening. So this movie is probably the most forgettable of the franchise. It's basically the same thing as the original Omen, except it's a little girl, and it's done a lot worse. But it did at least feel like an Omen movie to me, at least more than Omen 3. I'll probably get some flack for that. I'm not really sure what the regular ranking is for most fans, but I could see this movie definitely at the bottom for a lot of people. I just think the only thing that gives it the edge over 3 is that it feels more like an Omen movie, and at the time that I watched it, I had some fun with this movie, honestly. I just kind of put it on, it was late, and I don't know, I just had fun with it. This girl pretty much just went around, bad things started happening around her. There was actually some fun kills, if I remember right, and I thought she was decently creepy. I mean, definitely not as creepy as the original Damien, but for a TV movie of the 90s, I believe. Yeah, it was early 90s. TV movie, kind of fun. honestly, I tend to like TV movies, especially older, like 70s, 80s, 90s. Like, I don't know what it is about the vibe of old TV horror movies, but they're just really my cup of tea, honestly. I just like, I don't know, I have a lot of fun with them. And this one really gave off those vibes, and I enjoyed it for what it was worth. And I didn't hate it like most people do. I don't know. I guess it's because I'm not a lifelong fan of the Omen franchise, and I'm not emotionally attached to all of the films or like the original films. So it doesn't really sit in my heart to hate this movie as much as the real fans of this franchise would be. I enjoyed it better than the Omen 3, and it felt more like an Omen movie, so it's coming in at number 5. Coming in at number 4, surprisingly to a lot of fans probably, is the remake, The Omen 2006. Like in my review, I didn't hate this movie nearly as much as a lot of people do, especially really hardcore fans. Yes, it's kind of a carbon copy. I can somewhat agree with that, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was a very good modern remake. I mean, yes, they could have done it a little bit differently, but honestly, like I said, I'm not a lifelong fan of the franchise, so this one was pretty fun for me. It was just like a more amped up version of the original, and I enjoyed it for that. It was a little bit more gore. Yes, I think the ambience of the original and the kind of no blood factor is what makes it classic and what makes the rich story, but I have that movie in the original. I don't need it again. So at least they amped up the gore and stuff like that in this remake. As much as they carbon copied the original, at least they did that. And that's the kind of enjoyment that I can get out of this movie. So that's the reason I don't hate this movie as much as most people. I loved all of the characters. Like I said, I love the dad. I'm blanking on actors' names. Like I said in past videos, I'm horrible at remembering actors' names. I don't know why. I hate it. But the priest was acted amazingly. My favorite character. The kid wasn't as good, but he was okay. I didn't enjoy him very much, but he was still not as bad as most people say he is. I mean, he's not hideous, but I can agree that he wasn't very good. But overall, I enjoy this film. I could see myself putting this one on if I'm in an Omen feel and I don't feel like watching an older movie, which is pretty rare, like I said, but I could still see myself putting this one on, especially more than Omen 4 or Omen 3. Kicking off the top 3, at number 3, we are going to have Damien, The Omen 2. I enjoyed this movie when I first seen it. I was on the high of the original movie because I just watched it for the first time, or actually the first 2 times, because I just really wanted to rewatch it. But then I was excited to watch the second one. I wasn't expecting it to live up to the par of the first one, but I was pretty optimistic about it because, I don't know, I had never seen the series. It was a new horror franchise for me, and I was pleasantly surprised. I liked this movie. It had a classic feel to it. Definitely a downgrade, but also very entertaining. I mean, had some entertaining kills. I loved the style of this movie. I loved how it was set. There was a lot of snow, but there was also fall aspects to it. I could see this being like a really good November watch. And overall, it was just an entertaining Omen movie, honestly. Damien was a little bit older in this movie, has a different family aspect to it, and I don't know, it was enjoyable. I think it carried on the story fairly well. I mean, the first one tied it up in a pretty good little bow, but obviously, movie makes money in the 70s. There's going to be a sequel, especially in the late 70s, so I think they could have done a lot worse than this. So Damien the Omen 2, I enjoyed it. It's coming in at number 3. And coming in at number 2, I debated a lot on this. If you watched my last review of the most recent Omen film, I truly had to think about this for a long time, but I come to the conclusion that my number 2 will be the first Omen, mostly because of its newness. I loved this movie. It truly made me debate if I liked it more than the original, but it's so new that I'm going to sit on it for a little bit, and honestly, I don't think it'll overtake the original, but enough about that, we'll get to it. This was an astonishing prequel. You don't see prequels like this at all. Most of the time, prequels fall on their face. They are like the sign of a franchise being dead or dying. This was the complete opposite. It revived the franchise, in my opinion. I think that there could possibly be more to do with the franchise. I mean, I wouldn't be mad if they made more. I also wouldn't be mad if they didn't make more and they just left it be, because this is an amazing prequel and I think it really flows into the original very well. And everything about this movie I loved. It was dripping in style. I loved the 70s vibe of it. I loved all the characters. I loved the lead actress. I loved Pastor Brennan in this movie. Probably my favorite character of the entire franchise, if I'm being honest with you. That's pretty much all I can say about this movie. You guys should go watch it. I don't want to say too much. I don't want to spoil anything. This movie was shocking. It has great effects. It has great classic horror vibes. If you love horror movies, you have to go see this. You will almost guaranteed love it. And that's why it comes in this high at number 2. But without a doubt, at number 1 is the original Omen. To no one's real surprise, this is a classic horror film, the classic creepy kid film. Mid-70s horror pretty much at its best. Like I said, I first watched this movie when shortly before I reviewed it on this channel. And it was eating on me all week. Just, I needed to rewatch this movie. Like, I need to rewatch this movie. I need to rewatch this movie. I don't know what it was about it, but I barely get that feeling anymore about wanting to rewatch movies. And I know that when I want to rewatch a movie instantly after I watch it, it's going to be a movie that I love for a very long time. And it's going to be one that ranks high in my favorite movies. And this one was one of them. I wanted to rewatch this movie instantly after the credits rolled. And it instantly became a new horror favorite of mine. Instantly became a new October watch for me. I can't wait to watch this movie in October. I think it'll just hit completely different than when I watched it in, I think, early summer or midsummer whenever I made that review video. It was like 2 weeks before I made the review video, whenever that was. I can't really say much more about The Omen. I mean, you have to watch it if you like classic horror. It is amazing story, amazingly executed, shocking. I can only imagine what people's reaction in the theater to when the maid threw herself off the balcony. I could only imagine. I guarantee you people were running for the doors. Great kid acting in this movie. Great parent acting in this movie. I mean, everything about it. I love the story. The original Omen story is amazing. Not much more I can say about it. Go watch The Omen if you haven't seen it. It's one of my favorite horror films now. And it's the best of its franchise. Thank you guys for sticking with me throughout this entire franchise. I can't wait to do more horror franchises. This was a lot of fun. I loved finally getting to the end and ranking all the movies. It's my favorite part of reviewing movies, is getting to the end of a review series and ranking them. I love doing rankings. It's my favorite type of videos. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Comment down below what you think my next franchise should be, because I'm not fully convinced on which one it will be. I have a few ideas. I just need to decide which one I want to pick. I might even put a poll out on my community line, so keep an eye out for that if you're watching this present day. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next one.